This week, there have been major developments to no-code AI tools, and these can help you make money in several different ways. So today, me and Alina are going to battle it out over the tools that we use, what we use them for, and what we think is the best AI tool to start coding so that you can make money. Alina, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to exchange the news about all these tools we've been working with.
There's a lot of news to go over. There was actually some major updates in Google Gemini that I don't even think we talked about yet. So this will be kind of fun to go through.
Yeah, I know nothing about this one.
It's kind of a doozy. All right, so let's go through. You are our main coder here that builds tools and things for different websites. Tell us about some of the stuff you do. I know you wanted to bring up a site, talk about some of the tools you were creating, how you do it. And again, I think we should let the audience know, before you started here, you didn't really know much about code or cPanel or uploading or anything like that.
Yes, even now I'm still vibe coding, not no coding, but I know more now, both in the structure and the languages, so I can at least understand what's going on there.
Now, I know a lot of people in the internet space learned coding from MySpace. And I know MySpace was like, you're like, okay, Grandpa Mark, who
I
did
used it
MySpace.
once.
Yeah. We could go through, and that's kind of how I learned coding, like CSS. You could see, oh, this is blue, this is the image, this is that. So it's kind of like this, but we had to copy and paste. We didn't have AI to make our stuff like this. So you are kind of learning, though. Like you can say, oh, well, there's where the image is, and if it's 400, I can make it 300, it'll be smaller.
Yes, things like HTML and CSS are pretty much obvious. Plus, when AI tools usually give you the structure, they mark different sections responsible for different things. And when they edit those sections, they also mark where they edited and why. So
got it.
Just looking through this all, you start to learn what is where and what it means.
Cool. And I think it's a lot easier now with AI, because back when I would screw something up, I'd be like, I don't know what I messed up. And I'd have to go through line by line. So looking at this, here is a site you were working on for one of our students, where you go through and you're like, okay, we can tell us a little bit about these.
Yes, this page is made fully in Claude. That was the first time that I did widget page in Claude by just providing it a screenshot of what I wanted to look like, or in what style. You probably will not find it there. I'm sorry, there's a lot of things.
Well, I see some
on.
of them here. Yeah, I see like this one is the pet-friendly one, so we can see what it looked like here. And I don't know if it's going to do a preview, because it looks like you're doing PHP or something like that. But you did give it the screenshot, which
I give
that's
it
cool.
different things and say what I want them to do.
Okay.
So basically, because this is the website about SUVs and it needs real data, here I combined working in Bolt and Claude. What I was doing, I was going to, from ideas from ChatGPT, I was going to Bolt, and if you get to any of these chats in Claude now, in Claude, chats history, this one, let's do this one.
This one here?
One before.
This one?
Vice versa, let's do
Other
snow.
way, okay, there we go. Okay, so now we have this
and
here.
if you scroll up to the very beginning of it, what I'm asking Bolt to do is I'm asking to create like a database with the real data that I'm going to rely on, with like 50 different SUVs that are popular among people. If you click on this file, data.js, the next one, you see all the things it provides.
And how did you make
tools.
this?
I just came to Claude and say, I'm going to make this tool. You can see at the very top from ChatGPT, the prompt itself. And I said, I need a data.js, because it's usually what can substitute database. With like 50 popular SUVs.
Hey, I learned something new.
Year.
I didn't know .js could be like a database.
Yes, that's what I learned from Bolt, because sometimes Bolt did that.
Okay.
Like Bolt did it once, and ever since I was like, when I don't want to create an actual database, you know, I just can create a file.
Cool, and then the end result is, now you have something like this that's actually searching. Now, I did notice there was a major error in this tool. You need one that says Marcus, because we have like under 5.4, and then there needs to be a Marcus there. So let's see what happens here if we get like the Marcus SUV. Well, I'm not that, we'll do luxury. There we go. I'll be fancy Marcus there. And then it's going to go through and it'll find your match. Apparently
luxury.
Nothing. They're like, no, you can't. Let's do
no
average.
Luxury.
There we go. Hey, this is really nice. I like how it has the percentage match. It looks like it might have a little bit of an issue with where it's coming up with that. But I think as a starting one, this is actually looking pretty good. It shows the prices, view details. This is very nice. I like it. So that's a tool that, I mean, how long did it take you to make that?
Well, again, I'm mostly doing a template in Bold, and that's the hardest part because that's when you come up with the design and everything. So what I did after, I took this database, just one example from it, came in Bold and said, can you make me this tool? This is how that data.js file looks like.
Got it.
And based on this, Bold provided everything else. Because I'm building it in static files, what it provided was index.html, main.js and the CSS file. And I came back to Claude just to check it up, uploaded these files and said, will it work? Most of the time it will. Sometimes Claude will say no, there are some things missing that I provided you with. But pretty much between those two.
Okay, and was there any updates or new things that you noticed in Claude recently?
Not so much. Well, in Claude, since we updated our membership, it gives me more time to work.
so giving it more money did help.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll just keep throwing money in. Okay. So now I noticed a couple of interesting things this week in AI news that were kind of game changers. One, I want to show you Gemini. This is, as a vibe coder, you're going to like this. So what this does is it actually has a new coder 2.5 Pro preview. It codes, it previews the code, and it thinks on a completely different level. So like where you would ask Claude, hey, make me an SUV evaluator. This is going to go through and it's going to be like, what would people want if they were looking at this and they were interested in airbags for people that are under this age with the seatbelt, and it's just like, whoa, how did it do that? So let's go through, let's do this. Let's code a page for my website for people to choose SUVs. Now watch this. Based on different things important to them. Now, usually you're going to have to come up with, here's what's important, go figure it out, which is time consuming. Like being able to go to a tool and say, hey, figure out what my market wants and what they'll give me money for, and then figure out how to take the money and just skip it, just put it in my pocket, right? We're getting there. So now what's going to happen, watch the thought process here. It's absolutely insane. So look how fast it is. And it's like, okay, understand the core need, the list of SUV criteria for sorting, a way to display, determine the selection, consider web page structure, and then it's going to go on and it's going to go even deeper into like, do they care about gas mileage? Do they care about this?
Look, it starts creating in static files right away. That's interesting.
And then there's your JavaScript.
You didn't even need to ask for it because all the other tools you have to ask for static files. Yeah,
and this is, I mean, once it gets into the actual coding, there's a way to get it into Canvas. I think it's...
Maybe it's in the chat, the bottom canvas?
It might be. Sometimes it'll come up with a button that's like, hey, do you want to do this? And look at this, it's even coming up with the database.
Nice.
It's like literally... From what I understand, it's doing all the stuff that you did, but you had to think about it.
Right.
And go find it or use AI to find it, which is cool. And this, looking at the different level of thought here, I thought was crazy. Let me show you an example of what I had, because I actually did an example. This is in my video we're going to put out tomorrow, or today, I think, where I went through and I did a code tool for a prompt generator. It was in here and it did a prompt generator. I think I have it. Here it is. Sidebar AI prompt generator. So I went to ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, make me this cool prompt generator. Great, wonderful. Here's what I came up with. Okay, so it's okay. Like it's okay. We go in here. We're like, what do you want? You want SEO, sales. Here's our product. Here's this. Here's that. Now watch the prompt because it's basically, did you ever play Mad Libs? Have you ever seen that? So Mad Libs was this book we had here, and I don't think I ever played it, but I saw it. And it was like fill in the blank. So it'd be like, today I walked down the blank to do the blank, and then saw a blank. And you would fill those in with whatever. So the template, the book would never change, our answers would change, which is basically what this is doing. Like if you were to go through and put 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, it's just basically copying it. So there's no real thought there. Is it a helpful tool? Meh, sure, whatever. Watch what Gemini did with the same exact prompt. I want to make a sidebar tool for users. So watch what this thing did. I think I had it here. So this is what pops up. So we can actually see what it looks like. And then I want to show you what the Gemini one looked like with the same exact prompt. It was...
Not AI prompt generator?
Maybe. Let's see. Yes. Thank you. I would have been looking all day. So look at the difference here. So I gave it the same exact prompt, nothing else. I want to make a sidebar tool. Look at what this did. What do you want to create? Sales page. Okay. 1, 2. Do you want content length? How do you want it done? All of this. Secondary keyword. 5. Whatever, whatever, whatever. And what it does is it generates this gigantic, perfect prompt based on what it wants. Which is, this is something I can sell. ChatGPT's is something maybe at best I could give away.
Yeah.
So the difference is night and day. And having it, like, look at this. Like, that's an actual search thing where it's like, okay, what's the price range? 40,000. Seating capacity, we need to seat 1 million people, hybrid, whatever. Apply. There we go. That's pretty solid. Now, it didn't get, oh, no SUV, so it did get it. Let's say, so if you have 8 people in your family, apparently you need to spend more for your SUV.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You need to go buy the city bus. So,
but as far as I've seen, it has only 12 so far in the database, so we probably need to give it another prompt.
Please expand the data base. Okay, so we could do that. But notice, tell me what you think of this, because I got really excited about it. What are your thoughts? Like, is this game changer? Is it kind of like, that's okay?
That actually reminds me of Replit. Now that we are talking about it, it really slides into this, because the same logic goes behind it when it thinks. Like, you give it a prompt and it thinks it through. The only thing I don't know about both of them that I would ask both of them is, are you using real data or are you making it up? Because I asked Bolt about this, and Bolt makes it up. Lovable makes it up. Claude mostly takes the real data, but still makes up something that's not available. So that's the biggest issue.
So based on this, would you buy a Replit subscription, or would you just use Gemini?
I'd say Replit has only like process of developing static file deployments. They promise they will deploy it in static files, but not yet. When they do, I might be switching to it completely. Until then, not really. Now, plus, I need to go and ask this question first about, are you using real data or are you making it up?
Got it. Now, is it, correct me if I'm wrong, Replit seems to be a Bolt / ChatGPT kind of deal. Like, it's like it does the thinking, but it also does the compiling and the visual.
I wouldn't say so. I'd say Bolt is like for different types of things, but mostly like desktop applications. At least I use it this way.
Okay.
Whereas Replit creates full applications. As far as I can see, they also do it for mobile, and even mostly for mobile, since they started to promote themselves really pushy the last couple months. You've probably seen this advertisement like, you have an idea of an app, come and build it.
Got it. A lot of errors in this one. Okay, so it does have a preview, which is cool. I think Bolt is probably the most user-friendly.
Yes, it's easier to use right away without knowing anything.
And that's why you're using that to get the prototype, give that to the other one and say,
I would say what the updates are. In Bolt updates, they finally get the feature working when you can jump back to the previous version. It didn't work that well before.
Yeah.
In Lovable, they updated. I don't know when, but for sure I know that they did. Now that you can edit the code yourself, that was the thing I was complaining before,
Yeah.
making it the same level as Bolt for me right now. So they are the same.
So before we go on, question. If you had $50 and you were going to do vibe coding and you were on your own, what would you pick?
Well, I'm biased because I was using Bolt mostly.
So you'd
And
go
Bolt
Bolt.
and Claude.
Bolt and Claude. Could
Both
you
of
get
them $20. That's it.
Okay, so you still got $10 left. You can have lunch. And apparently, like lunch at, I don't know where you can, maybe Taco Bell still has lunch for less than $10. I don't know. But at any rate, looking at this, what's your favorite? Bolt?
Yeah, but again, only in combination with Claude because I can fix the stuff.
So your advice would be get both.
Yeah.
Got it. Now,
Or get only Claude.
Or
if you-
only Claude.
Yeah, if
Okay.
you're saving.
and the difference between Claude is Bolt, I go through, I get my tool, I download the whole thing as a package, and then I put it on my website.
Yes, but
Claude.
again, you need to know how to convert your stuff to the static files if you use shared hosting. And you need to know which files you actually need and which files just there for Bolt to run preview.
Got it. Okay, so this, you're exporting, you get the file, you have to fancy it up. Learning curve there's a bit steep for someone who doesn't know it. Now, with,
But if you go to Claude, you can give this task right away. You can just say, Claude, I have this hosting, and it will adjust for you without too much trouble.
now difference with Claude, I'm downloading each file separate.
Yes, I'll copy that.
That was something I liked about Gemini. Gemini puts it into your Google Drive.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like your organization, which one of the biggest pet peeves I have about AI is organization. Like I'm doing so many things, it'd be nice to be like, hey, where's the folder with all those files I was working on? Let's go back to that. They try, but the search capability for people who use it at our level is absurd. Most people, it's probably fine. For us, it's like, okay, I'm searching 10,000 things I've done. Now with this, again, very download one file at a time. Gemini is going to put it into your Google Drive, all the files in a folder.
Nice.
I like that.
Well, Claude also does have preview. That's the last thing I wanted to
Claude
mention.
does have preview. Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. So Claude's got the preview, which we like. Having preview is big. If you don't have preview, you need your own host, so you can go back and forth, because sometimes I'll toggle.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. Now, Gemini, I love the thought process. There is
Yeah,
nothing
it seems
compared.
Like it's a very good option because if it thinks like this, it creates everything like this, and it can be downloaded this easily. It seems like, yeah.
And basically, you can go find apps that are missing or only doing one part or not as good, make them better. It's like the old business adage of make a better mousetrap. And, we can make a better app, a mouse app. There we go. All right. The jokes are free. Calm down. Sit down. It's going to be all right. I want to show you one other thing that I really like about the AI no-code tool updates this week. And it was a big one. As you know, I was very frustrated with Manus this week. And I didn't like it, and I was ready to cancel it. And I found this one thing where I was like, oh, that's where it lies. One of the things that I've done for many years, I remember one time I was in the apartment. We were rented an apartment and another apartment for my work. My kids were like little, one was just an infant, and we were working, and I would buy these scripts to build things. One of them was a pay-per-click search engine. And it made me a lot of money. I bought the script for like $300, throwed it on my site, made money with it, and it was good. And since then, I've bought scripts, plugins, tools, spent more money than I would even like to admit on these things. So it's a big market. But the problem is with AI, other than Bolt making the weird code that you have to convert, most AI is, here's a file, here's another file, and then it starts to forget and they don't work together. And you're like, I don't have anything usable. It's fun, it's cute, but it's not actually making a product.
Yes, that's a big problem.
Manus, I found, okay, I tried to get it to everything. I gave it domains and said, figure out what's on these domains. Started making stuff up. It was like, okay, Manus, I don't know what
That's the biggest problem with Manus.
It is. But I noticed with programming, it's kind of on point. If I give it a task like make a pay-per-click search engine script, it will make it. And since Manus compiles files, so the big benefit of Manus is it's like making files as it goes, packing them in one thing. So if I say write a book, 10 chapters, here's your book with 10 chapters. 10 files, 10 chapters. Does .md, whatever that is. But you open it in a text file. It's a fancy text file. But I found out I could actually have it create a full-on WordPress plugin. So what I did, I went to the WordPress thing, and this is on a video that I have coming out. I went to the WordPress list of plugins. And I was like, what would be one that would be easy to sell, but it's a pain? So like for me, WordPress security plugins, because WordPress is quite hackable. And we wanted something to be secure so that wouldn't happen. One of the ways to do that is change your login page to something that nobody knows, because WP-admin, okay, that everyone knows that. If you change it to Z5609010.5, now you have something no one can find. So I wanted to change that, and I wanted 2FA, two-factor, email me a code, put it in, boom. Now I'm pretty secure. The problem is, plugins for people like us that run a gazillion blogs, they're $119 a year. Times that by the 3,000 sites we own, yeah, I'm not profitable anymore.
Yeah.
So now what I did is I said, what if we made a simple one that just changed the page and did this thing? That's it. That's all I want. Most people don't need giant, robust. So I did this, and it came up with the way to do it. And out of the gate, it gave me a zip file. And I'm like, yeah, right. Whatever, Manus. You're crazy. I downloaded it, uploaded it to WordPress. Right out of the gate, no error. It's like, okay, it installed. Usually you get like something.
Yeah,
you know.
WordPress plugins is the hardest part because you cannot see preview. It's supposed to work in a special environment of this particular app.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing ever to do.
And it was perfect out of the gate.
Nice.
Like completely perfect. It emailed me the 2FA. It changed. It had a little thing where you can choose what you wanted the WP admin to change to. And it was like, here is your download. And I just download it and now I have a product. And I mean, I could probably go back to it because you found out something today I didn't know.
Yeah.
You can actually give it a zip.
Yeah.
And
I
it'll-
had plugins that didn't work. So after you told me that it creates stuff, I was like, if it creates stuff, it can fix it
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
So I gave it files and found the mistake and it fixed it. However, we haven't checked it yet. So we can only tell later.
You know what's kind of cool about that? So WordPress plugins, you can buy the rights to a lot of them. You just get like PLR plugins or whatever. I could throw them in here and brand them. Just say, here's my header, here's my image, brand it this way, put this link here. There you go. I could even go in and say, make a code that unlocks this plugin or something like that. There's so many things you can do.
And it also shows me the capabilities of it. So what I noticed it does, after it it runs it in a similar to WordPress environment to actually find mistake, then fix mistake, then it runs it again in a WordPress environment somehow on its own. And then after all that, it gives you the files. So the capabilities here show, I don't know, you can possibly do something else like that there, since it's capable of taking a zip file, unpacking it, checking the files all together, checking them in a special environment, editing them, packing them back and give it back to you. That's a lot of work.
I have a hunch, and that's why I looked at this. So my WordPress plugin was 273 credits. Yours was 1,000. Here's my hunch. I think Manus installed WordPress on a local environment to test it. Because why else would it need all of those credits to make that work?
It might be because my plugin is complicated.
Oh, what does your plugin do?
It's the polls and surveys plugin that has a lot of designing stuff
Okay, so
and a
now
lot of conditions. So
have you tested it on WordPress yet?
no,
Do you want to?
we can.
Okay, let's see if I have one. Let's see. We should just include all this. It's all watch us get frustrated.
Yeah, for like 20 minutes more to actually have the 38 minutes.
And now, a 20-minute interlude where Alina gets mad at AI. You're like, beep, 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 beep. Throwing everything around. Okay, good. All right, so now let's go ahead and test out your plugin and see how it works. So we're up here.
Yeah, this one, simple survey polls.
Simple survey right here?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to go here. We're going to download it. Let's go ahead and add the plugin right over here on our WordPress site. See if it actually behaves the way it should. Simple survey. Dun, 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 drum roll. Okay, so it did notice it. Now the moment of truth.
Yeah, it's usually where it breaks.
Here we go. And it's going.
Well,
Oh, it
could
worked.
not be activated.
Fatal error.
Yeah.
Let's try the one that I created and see, because I think maybe I got the wrong version. It could have been a different one. So you have a backup plugin.
Yeah, we can try this one too.
Okay, let's try this one real quick. This is the security one, which I was pretty impressed because it was like ready to go, ready to sell. So let's do add plugin. We're going to add mine. And sometimes these take a little bit of tweaking, but I mean, you're building a business. Like if you're expecting Manus to just, throw you money, it's not going to happen. If it did, it'd just throw everyone money. All right, here we go. Activate. And it did work this morning, so we're on camera, so it probably won't. Right. Okay, so now we have this. I think it had it under settings. Yep, there it is. Custom admin and 2FA. So now I could do an admin slug. Let's call it Alina code. And then we'll save changes. Let's start with that. So now, let's do a different browser just to see. We'll go to the site. WP-admin. Nice. It did work. And it did change it to Alina code, though, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, which is,
I think we can work with it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least it does something.
Definitely can work with it. And you can just go through and say, hey, fix this.
There was one more that I created in Manus.
Mm-hmm.
In the chats.
Which one?
Yeah, this one. The quiz.
So this one, quiz. All right, let's try this one. And, okay, so 2FA, let's see if that worked. I think it did. I tested it earlier and it seemed to work. Desired my secret login cannot be WP admin or whatever. So I'd probably give it the error and then say, hey, fix it.
Yep.
So let's take a look at yours, which is plugins, add plugin, upload, choose. And by the way, the plugin industry makes a lot of money. So stylish quiz. All right, I'm expecting like 70s, like bell bottoms and then big platform shoes.
I didn't prompt it to make 70s.
There you go. It's like, we want a disco plugin with roller skates.
Oh,
okay, so it worked. Now, where did it go? Usually they'll be in somewhere, plugin stylish quizzes. There we are. So we got add quiz. Okay. What is the best 70s disco pants? And then you put your excerpt, custom fields, add. Okay, interesting. It's pretty interesting how it does this. Publish. Okay, so it is having a little bit of trouble. I got a little excited.
Yeah, I probably need to go like back and forth and fixing this stuff.
And this is kind of thing where if it can do the logic, you can have a programmer do it in seconds. So I think we're getting there. For vibe coding, I think in like 6 months, it's going to be a completely different world. But going through, again, the most foolproof one is going to be Bolt.
Claude.
Claude? Okay, so Claude's the most foolproof one.
Well, I'm actually like in between. It's different functions between those two. But as far as I've seen, Claude can solve any problems, whereas Bolt can solve most problems, let's say like this.
Got it. So Claude, the only difference is you need to know how to package the files. So if you can zip files into a WordPress plugin, the way that it tells you, you can do it.
Yes, the other difference is that Bolt is better at initial design creation than Claude is.
Got it. So visually and design, Bolt for the win. Okay, got it. All right, well, that's good to know. So I think, sticking with Claude, if you're new, is probably going to be the easiest way. And also sticking with one file type things, because you can create a WordPress plugin in ChatGPT or Claude as long as it's a one page, which a lot are.
Yes,
like I think
HTML.
Yeah, our login one probably could be a one page. It might need a Java for the email or PHP for the email or something like that. But for the most part, I think a lot of this you can do. Just get familiar with zipping files, how the structure works, which it'll show you.
Yeah, you can ask it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like having a coder there that, he's good. He's not the best coder, and he will help you with, hey, here's why I made what I made. Cool. All right, so there's been a lot of changes here. I think learning to vibe code using the different tools will help you. Definitely don't sleep on Gemini, because Google has more money behind them than any other company.
Yeah, they come up with different updates all the time.
Yeah, literally like hourly. So that's a big one. And Gemini can do multiple files. You just need to know where to find them in your Google Docs, which it can be annoying, but it can be done. All right, so thanks for being here. I think we got a lot of good stuff for vibe coding. Check out the tools. Check out the links below. We have a class tomorrow. I think you're doing a class about tools.
Yeah, tools. Yeah.
So if you guys want to check that out, aiprofitscoop.com. You can check that out. It is a class for everyone, so you don't even have to be a member. We're just doing it free for everyone who's over at aiprofitscoop.com. Check out the links in the description for other videos on vibe coding and how to make money online. And Alina, thanks for being here.
Thank you. See you in the next one.